Welcome to an ELA Training Services Maths video. Today we're looking at angles. This session is about learning the tricks to be able to work out what angles are in most circumstances. First, let's see if we can identify these angles. So we can see that this first one says it's 90 degrees. Now, a 90-degree angle is one way of describing this, but there is another name for it. And even if it doesn't say 90, this angle will always have this square here to remind you what it's called. So that is a right angle. Next, we have angles here. So as you can see, it's smaller than a right angle, than 90 degrees. And I remember this as, if something is small, it is cute. So this is an acute angle. Here, we have an angle that is bigger. Than 90 degrees. Another way of remembering this for obtuse is if something is big, obese, it's bigger than 90, therefore it must be an obtuse angle. Here, we're measuring the angle on the outside of the line. Now this one is called a reflex angle. Back of flex. Angles around a point, like this, here's your point, will always add up to 360. So around the point will always be 360 degrees. So we can separate around a point into different zones. And if we knew one of the angles, we would be able to work out the rest of the angle, because it must always add up to 360. Now you may not be given all of the angles, you may only be given two, but you should be able to use a bit of common sense to work out that this one is going to be bigger than 90 and this one is going to be less than 90. A straight line are a different rule. Here is your straight line, and these are the angles that come off of it, A and B. Now, regardless of what A and B are, combined, they are half a circle. Half of 360 is 180. So angles on a line, a half turn, must always add up to 180. Triangles also add up to 180. Now this time it's this one plus this angle plus this angle that add up to 180. Because if you slice your triangle open, you can fit them all on one straight line. Vertically opposite angles are angles that fall across one straight line but are opposites. So A and C are vertically opposite angles. B and D are also vertically opposite angles. And the rule for these is that vertically opposite angles are always equal. So if this B is 30 degrees and you're asked to work out D, D is going to also be 30 degrees because it's a mirror image of B. Same where A might be 120, as would C. It would be 120. Now obviously these do not add up to 360, these are just estimations, but if that was 120, that would also have to be 120. It's about matching equally across the mirror line. Let's do a little recap. Angles less than 90 are acute. Angles greater than 90 but less than 180 are obtuse. Angles greater than 180 are reflex. A full turn or around a point is 360 degrees. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. Angles around a point sum or add up to 360. Angles in a triangle are 180 degrees, and vertically opposite angles are equal. Let's have some practice. Here, question 1a, the angle is on a straight line. So we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to do the maths. 180 minus 30, because 30 is the angle that we're given. 0 take away 0 is 0, 8 take away 3 is 5, and 1 take away 0 is 1. So that means that A must be 150 degrees. B, vertically opposite angles are equal. So if we know the one opposite is 54 degrees, then B must also be 54 degrees because it's opposite, they're equal. Here we go, angles around a point add up to 360. Now, here we have 100 degrees, here we have 20, and here we just have that funny square, 90 degrees. Well remembered, the square means 90 degrees, a right angle. So again, let's do some math. 90 plus 20 plus 100, and remember to stay in your columns when you're doing addition. 0 and 0 and 0 is 0. 9 plus 2 is 11, so the 1 goes in the tens column and 1 carries to the hundreds, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's 210 degrees that we have been given. However, that's not the end of our question. We now need to work out the angle we have not been given. So we do 360 minus 210. Remember, for subtraction, the big number must always go on the top. 0 minus 0 is 0, 6 minus 1 is 5, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So again, C is 150 degrees. Triangle. Can you remember what the angles in a triangle add up to? $180. So again, what do we have? We have 114 and we have 38. So we're going to add those together. 4 plus 8, 2, carry the 1 to make 12. 1 plus 3, and that extra 1 is 5. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So we have 152 degrees to play with. But we have to work out what we're missing. So 180 minus 152. 2 from 0, can't do, have to borrow. 7, 1 to make 10, 10 take away 2 is 8, 7 take away 5 is 2, and 1 take away 1 is nothing. So that means that D is 28 degrees. Three more for you. Now this can be a bit confusing because of all the different letters and numbers. Now really these capital letters are just letting you know the points upon a line. We can ignore those. What we're really interested in is A and 135. So again, this is a straight line. Angles on a straight line are 180 minus the number we've given, 135. Again, we need to borrow. That becomes 7, that becomes 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 1 minus 1 is nothing. So A equals 45. It's helpful in exams if you make the answer really obvious. So I've done A equals, but I've also underlined it so that the examiner knows. You can also write the word answer, draw it in a box. Whatever makes it clear and stand away from the rest of your workings out. Again, for the second one, we're only interested in this A here and the number we're provided with. That square, however, is useful. The square reminds us that that is a 90-degree angle that's been cut into two pieces, and one of those pieces is 54 degrees. So let's do a takeaway sum. Can't take 0 from 4, so we have to do borrowing. 9 becomes 8, 0 becomes 10. 10 take away 4 is 6. 8 take away 5 is 3. 36. A equals 36. Again, remember, make it obvious for the marker. Lastly, we have 272 degrees and we need to work out A. Now this time it's around a point. So angles around a point add up to 360. Take away the angle we're given, 272. We can't take 2 from nothing, so we have to borrow. 6 becomes 5, 0 becomes 10. 10 take away 2 is 8. 7 from 5, we can't do that, we need to borrow again. 3 becomes 2. 5 becomes 15. 15 take away from 7. 8 and 2 take away 2. So that gives us the answer that A must be 88 degrees. And remember, when you're writing degrees for angles, you must always draw that little circle. Answer A equals 88 degrees. They're clear for the examiner. Remember, for further practice or help, always contact your tutor.